RTE.ie and Irish News Radio. It's 8 in the evening, and we'll be hopefully catching up with Eileen in a little bit about what's going on in the UN and this one world order, and the Irish government being very much part of it and being placed to destroy Ireland and the Irish. But we're going to go through some hilarious stories. One story that I came across, which I find hilarious, it's called A Holiday to Hell. And a so-called Brit family, now a Brit family with no British blood, ancestry, culture, or anything, they did happen to live in Britain. I don't know how they could be called a British family. They've no British values or British blood. But anyway, their so-called Brit family detained in Syria claimed they joined ISIS by accident while on a holiday and begged to come home. Oh my God. It's so ridiculous. It's actually hilarious. Like, how can you accidentally join ISIS? Beg to come home. It's not your bloody home. Like, insane. They should all be left there or done for treason. Absolutely ridiculous. They go on to say, while on a family holiday to Turkey, they ended up in Syria. Now, as if that happens, you get to an airport and your ticket, it says Turkey on a strange plane or whatever, you got into the wrong queue. Like, how does that happen? Anyway, so you end up in Syria and then you end up joining the ISIS. Like, and then one of them was asked, how do you accidentally, I don't know, it's never been explained to me. Seriously, like, is it like filling out a form? Like, this is crazy. It's like, it's insane. It's like the time Ibrahim went to the cinema in Egypt and took the wrong turn and ended up speaking in a jihadi rally. Like, it seems to happen a lot with these Muslims. Like, their idea of holidays is quite different. Do you fill in forms and suddenly, you end up joining ISIS? Like, did you not read what the form said? And how could you go on a holiday to Turkey and end up in Syria? They're such terrible liars. I mean, they're not even good at lying, even though Muhammad was supposed to be the best liar. They really must think everybody is that stupid. I mean, how do you accidentally join ISIS from is it like filling in the wrong form? Like, you go to a queue in Tesco's and suddenly you've joined, ISIS. It's crazy. And for them to actually come out with that is absolutely hilariously. They must just think everyone's so stupid. They should all be done as what that family was done in America, done for treason and got 60 years. I mean, I think they all should be given the death penalty for joining ISIS accidentally while on holidays. What sort of holidays are you going on? Oh, look at these. This is strange, interesting holiday outfits there with guns and, beheadings and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, your typical holiday most people would see as a holiday. Like, really, come on. Like, how stupid do you think the people are? The US says to Ireland to drop the bill against Israel. A bill that the Irish government's trying to put forward. I never actually agreed with it. It outlaws trade from Israel, and I think it's absolutely disgraceful because all the Islamic countries, does Ireland ever even talk about an Islamic country? And all the things that happen in Saudi, Iran, or any Islamic country. But no, Israel. And Israel is, as I've said before, the safest place for women to live. It's the only place where democracy is. It's, relatively safe, and Ireland decides to ban goods. So America says a congressman come to Ireland and imply that there would be a lot of repercussions if they go ahead with this bill. Multi-corporations will be affected, such as Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Twitter. So yeah, I'm actually with America on this. Like, the Irish government's got too big for their boots. They never talk about anything Islamic, never condemn them, never stop anything. But yet, Israel, and absolutely insane. Israel, the Jews have a right to be safe in their own land, and they have a right to Israel. I don't care what anyone says. Absolutely have a right. And most of those so-called Palestinians, there's no such thing as Palestine. Like, what language is Palestine? Do they have a language? No, it's Arabic. Do they have a dress code? No, it's Arabic. Do they have a culture or traditions or anything that you could say, oh, the country of Palestine? There was no such place as Palestine. The British named it Palestine, and it's very near to the name Philistine from the Bible. But there was no. The British named it. Before then, it was called the British Mandate. There has always been, from the Bible, right back to the Bible, whether people like this or not, a place called Israel. Palestine was part of the British Mandate. When the British, as they did, separate lots of lands all over the place, they named it Palestine. Before then, there was no Palestine. As I said, there was a place there was people in Israel called the Philistines. But these Palestinians, so-called Palestinians, are mainly Turkish and Arabic or origin. And they speak Arabic languages. They have no actual culture, tradition that is an actual Palestine tradition. People say, oh, it's like Ireland. It's very different from Ireland. Ireland has a language, has a culture, has a tradition, has everything that a country has. Palestine doesn't. Palestine people came into Palestine. Now people say it could be like Northern Ireland. Northern Irish even had their own culture and their own place. And there's very little between us, between Britain and Ireland. But that's a different story. Palestine is like Northern Ireland coming to reclaim, parts of the Republic, although the EU have done that anyway, without even a bullet. I know none of you will like my comments about Israel, but I just think it's ridiculous that the Irish government have decided to go against trade with a democracy, the only safe country that is in the Middle East. The only safe country. And they've decided to go for Israel. The only country that women have rights. But you don't see women being stoned and murdered for a drop in the hat. The only country that is growing, financially prosperous. And you want to stop trade with them. And that's the only safe country. The rest of those, nobody could actually go into an Islamic country and be safe in. Israel, you could go there and be safe there. They're not going to kill you. But any Islamic country, and you are in danger of your life. Yet we decide to stop trade with Israel. Now, I give any of you who actually argue with this, decide to go to an Islamic country, particularly as a woman. Pick. Go to both and actually see where your enemies are and where would you be safer in. I mean, in most Islamic countries, Western women wouldn't last 10 minutes unless you're covered in a burqa, and even at that. You have no rights. Israel, you can walk around, you're free, you can walk in whatever you want, and that is the reality. Give it a go if you don't believe me. Anyway, thank you for listening on the Bonry Show on ITV.ie and Irish News Radio. Hopefully we'll be talking to Eileen about the UN Pact. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You are listening to Irish News Radio at irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.